You are a sour raspberry cheesecake. And today I want to tell you something. Society turns to persecution of anything it doesn't agree with. Of course, we all know the old adage, you must have 1, 3, or 5 ice cubes, cold orange juice only please, and short and sharp. Pointy elbows, bang to snap the back of the bears, friends. We're going to be speaking about the left translated cycle. It's actually called it the dark prophecy before. Dark prophecy. We're going to have to appropriate ourselves for that. Boom! Here we are, friends. Of course, we are going to venture into the unknown. Gather round, my people. The prophecy will be foretold. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but of course, we are here to engage in the thought of what would happen in a left translated cycle. Technically, where we are today, Bitcoin is not meant to run for another 9 months, but it's running kind of right now, but not really. So if you kind of just see Bitcoin as like, oh, you're running a bit further because of the Bitcoin halvening, it makes sense, right? And I can show it to you in the chart. Some call it charts. You can see it right now, friends. Don't worry about the price today. Whenever you see this, don't worry about it. So yes, technically, Bitcoin will be running around here. You see that part? That's the end of the year, technically. That's like what's happened usually every time. But what is a left translated cycle? Well, we're just going to go through these because this is interesting. Now, here's the thing, friends. The Bitcoin ETF is still a Trojan horse, but we've got more to uncover. You see, this is a bit concerning, but we don't know what's going to come next. The crowd believes in the left translated cycle. Now, but not really, okay? It's just it's opening in people's minds. Left translated cycle. So I'm going to show you cycles and what happens. Now, Bitcoin moves more like a commodity. All right, commodity or tech or stocks. It has technology in it, of course, but it's more moving towards this whole look. The commodity part is obvious because the supply gets cut. There's supply and there's demand here and there. Now, what do we mean by like left translated? Well, you see, friends, actually, there's a nice picture here. I'm going to show it right now. So what we have here now. Shout out to Mr. Camel Finance who just put these together. This is interesting, right? So you have let's look at this line, right? You see this line where we have the Bitcoin halvening. Bitcoin basically peaks right-hand side. See how it's right translated? All right, next Bitcoin halvening, we peak to the right of it. Next Bitcoin halvening, we peak to the right of it. You see that, friends? That's 3 out of 3 times. Now, what I'm going to show you is our Bitcoin halvening. Look what's happening right now. You're like, whoa, we're translating to the left. That's interesting. You can see that, right? So I'm going to show it to you now. You see this, right? So I'm drawing it right here. This was the left. On the right. This was on the right. This was on the right as well. And now we're just witnessing, like, interesting. All right, now this is weird. And that actually is November 2024. If you mark this date out, that's November 2024. So you can see these left, what they actually mean. It goes, okay, you draw a point in time. Where's the 4-year point? So normally you move to the right, you move to the right, you move to the right. That's 3 times. 2012, 2016, 2020. Bitcoin halvening, bang, bang, bang. Now we have 2024. We're like, whoa, we're going super strong now. So that's basically what happens. And funny, not even knowing these things, I conceptualized it in 2022 because I thought, well, it makes sense because if everyone is in here for the 4-year cycle and they know what the crowd usually does is, as I've shown you, friends, is they will buy 1 year after the halvening. So they will normally buy April 2025. But what I said to myself, I go, well, I think that's not going to happen now. I think the crowd's learned. I think people are now going to buy earlier because the crowd is all going to drag themselves forward. So instead of buying in 2025, they're going to buy in 2024. And if they do, there's nobody left to buy in 2025. It's game over. That's the sucker's year, isn't it? That's why I kept telling you to buy in the depression. Because if this dark prophecy plays out, you have to buy when Davey Soy Hoffman is crying. All right, so that's exactly what it seems to be playing out now, but we don't know, friends. We don't know because it could still stop. So the crowd might think it's up only for the rest of the year, and I'm going to go through this as well. It could be because so many people have been caught offside, and they need everything to keep going up for the rest of the year. That's also one thing. So if we do dunk back lower later in the year, and the Bitcoin ETF turns out to be a Trojan horse, I'm just telling you, don't sell. Don't sell, don't sell, don't capitulate, don't sell. But let's go through these charts. So this is a standard. It's called the 16-year cycle, but you've got 4 cycles, friends. You see how this one is translated on the right. translated on the right, translated on the right. That's actually the Bitcoin, right? And then look at this. We might be here, friends. It goes a short amount of time, bang. But what actually this means is it's a 2-year bear market. All right, it's a 2-year bear market. So if you draw that out, Bitcoin is meant to peak November 2025, next year. But if we get a left translated cycle, we go ballistic this year. And Bitcoin is maybe 180K by the end of this year. So we know, remember friends, I told you in my dark prophecy scenario, it would make us too rich, too fast. So that's what might happen. And then, you know, traditionally, friends, people might get trapped. They might buy at the end of 2025, thinking, oh, we've topped out. Now the bear market lows in. And then what we end up finding is there's like maybe a sideways period because probably everyone's in on that. And then it keeps going in 2026 and then drops. That's what might happen, man. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's basically what this thing would play out to be. Now, it depends. Like, I'm just opening your mind in case we get this. And that's the most beautiful part about it. I've got another example here of these left translated cycles. Sorry, yes. So you have, they come at the end, by the way. That's what it is. Left translated just comes at the end. So that's what it is. You have 1, 2, left translated, left translated, left translate. So actually I had a typo here, right? So it was typo here. These are right translated. So on the right, on the right, on the right. And then this one is a short and sharp, fast one. This is actually Bitcoin's chart. This might be like 60K. Come back bear market, bang. You see that, friends? Going up super hyper fast speed. Now, what I'm going to do for you is just show you. Let's go back to Bitcoin. What would the chart actually look like if we got it? So if we got it, it would be this, but it would probably be like we peak November this year, man. We just go on this hyperbolic run. But then what it means, friends, is look where November, oh my gosh, November 2026 is here. So we go up, down, down, and everyone thinks it's the bottom here. Oh, we're bottoming, and then no, bang. You see that? That's what it would be like. I hope you're ready if it happens. But like if it happens, it means too much money has come in too quick. So we've gone through a lot of that. Now, if we do get a left translated cycle pump, we got one more big crash coming now, and then we get the final run at the end. So let me show you what the chart would look like. That's what it would look like. We got this crash that might come, and then we just go up only. 180K. So somewhere here, the final top, you know, and this might be literally up here. We have a lower high. Everyone thinks everything's going to be great. Maybe we come back down December and everyone thinks, oh, sweet, don't worry. We're going to finish December of 2025. Everyone says, oh, next year's going to be even bigger than this year. And that's probably the top if it happens like that. But it all depends on this, right? It all depends on that, friend. So we don't know what it comes to that one period. It's like, so it's always crazy, man. So we are going to get a crash here, ye. We are going to get some sort of correction, dip crash. But then it is, how high and aggressive do we go up? Do we go on a run? Now, this is the thing. You're probably in shock saying, well, what would even make Bitcoin go from like 50K to 180K? Well, this is the thing, man. Markets move in emotional cycles. You know, in commodities, friends, in the fourth cycle, the one that's the sharpest, the left translated one. So you have 3, 1, 2, 3. The fourth one that goes up, it rallies on fear. Spooky, right? So what would be the fear thing? Would it be the DXY crashing, money printing, CBDCs, countries got to get in? I don't know. Happening this year? Crazy. Let's see. Maybe they just start printing money again. People go ballistic. Maybe just buy Bitcoin. They're printing money again. And maybe they overstep their boundaries. We'll see. So if we do get the move right, crypto will then downtrend for 2 years. So that will be nuts. Think about it if it happens. But don't get scared. It's like, okay, you downtrend for 2 years, but it's because you went up so much. It's not like, oh, let's stop the party now. Let's go down forever for 2 years. No. There'll be so much euphoria. It happens so fast, so quick, and everyone's like, whoa, we made too much money, too many things happen, right? By the way, I've got to tell you as well, so I've made a post recently as well. There are VCs, friends on Solana, they just stopped making products. VCs started releasing meme coins. This to show you it's end of times stuff. It's people chasing inflation and gambling casino stuff. That's like saying, don't even worry about making a product anymore. Let's do ICOs and pre-sales for memes, and they have connections to the exchanges. So that's something to think about. it will take a long time to go down. Crazy, because we should only be buying in 2026, not even 2025. Yeah, that's pretty much what it would say, right? If we did get something like that, man, that'd be devastating if that happens. And yeah, of course it can happen, because we're not meant to be rich this year. You're meant to be rich next year. But if it comes this year, it happens too fast. So it's sharper and shorter and bang, up only. That's what's actually happened in Bitcoin so far, right? But now it depends, right? Is it going to roll over? So if you want to say, hey, before any of this happens, what would we want to see? It'd be this chart. All right, it would be this chart, friends. You see that? See, my scenario is actually pretty good. Why I like it is because this is just Bitcoin's price sucking, but time-wise, it's fine. Do you get that? So price-wise, in my scenario, Bitcoin sucks, but the time, it's like, oh, you're still repeating your 4-year cycle. So that's what it would be. We would need to reset. You know, in their scenario, their reset is 55K and then up only to 180. That's what the left translated cycle would do. Bang. Right up here. And then maybe do a lower high. And then it's pretty much game over, right? For 2 years. Maybe that's what it is, right? You go down and down and down and down. Everyone thinks it's over. Remember, November 2026 here. So you go up. Oh, don't. November 26 is there, and it just capitulates down. Bang. Maybe that. I'm drawing stuff to just show you that all of these are possible. Now, look, if you match that traditional 4-year cycle, that bottom would be in 2026 November. And as we went through, we've known that, all right, that would only happen. Why? Not to fart, but it's because we got too rich too quick. Okay, got it. And remember, I told you, this 4th cycle shit, this scare stuff is a fear pump. Like friends, they do this in gold and oil. They bought oil. Oh my gosh, running out of oil in the world. Got to buy it. Or, oh my gosh, we're running out of gold because they couldn't stop inflation back in the 80s. Couldn't stop it. Everyone had too much fear. Well, what if, oh my gosh, I got to get Bitcoin. We're running out of Bitcoin. Got to get it. What would it be, right? But I'm trying to guess. What would the fear emotion be? CBDCs, money printing, the US dollar falling, stocks. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. We're just trading human emotions, friends. The narrative is fake. Now, here's the most interesting part. Elliott wave traders and cycle traders have so far been correct to predict Bitcoin. So if you guys know, blockchain back and stuff, they've been pretty spot on with how they've been like, because they see the lens through the market like that. They've been looking at these waves, these long macro stuff. And because it's a 4th cycle now, it's pretty much, okay, if you want to give us the game over, the show's ending part, let's play some nice Halo intro music, friends, because this is what we want, all right? So don't forget that. If the market wants to finish us and see you later crypto for 2 years, which is devastating, man. If it wants to do that, yes, you're going to have to make it really vertical. You're really going to have to go up only. You can't stop at 80K. You can't stop at 100. You got to go to 180 or 220. You got to really blow the roof off. I hope Richard Hart's 240K Bitcoin comes. That'd be crazy. Also, what if it doesn't come? What if it just stops at 180? And then everyone thinks 2025 is going to be the best year of their lives, but it sucks. Remember, we've been planning for this. I said, friends, if Bitcoin halvening year is red this year, you go all in. You go all in, you're going to get 2 green up years. 2025 and 2026 will be the easiest up years of your life if we got a bad 2024. But this so far is looking good so far. It's not written off yet. You never know. It could still finish down. But so far, yeah, I mean, if this is a green year and it continues, you got all the weekends in. Fake narratives that we're seeing. No more bear markets. The ETF won't allow crashes. No more cycles. Super cycles. So these are all traditional stuff that you just see. Of course, euphoria talking here and there. All right. So aren't we just glad we actually get to provide this information here for you? So what's a war strategy, man? I've actually got a post here too. What strategy do we do? Well, obviously, number one, we continue to hold. So we just continue to hold, friends. We got to buy the next big crash. If you've got any dip money left, buy the next big crash, continue to hold. So they're standard. You have to do that no matter what. You have to hold or you can buy, whatever. Okay. Now, if we get a super rush, a super pump, an erection pump of Bitcoin at the end of this year, just know that left translated cycle. So, oh, Bitcoin, are you really worth 160,000, 180,000? No, you're paying us too early. If you were to map the 4-year cycle, Bitcoin is meant to be breaking 69K at the end of this year. All right, it's meant to be breaking it. at the end of this year. So look, it's still possible, friends, that we reset and then Bitcoin breaks it like in October, November, December this year, that we reset back to 50. It can't break up. We go sideways forever and then go. That is still possible. That's why we don't know yet. Are you going to give us that 180K? Guess we'll see. So this is Somi's dark prophecy scenario if it plays out. Now, I went through this, right? If we thought Bitcoin, if it was going to be green this year, we thought, damn, a lot of weak hands are going to be leveraged long into for next year. And we're just going to wait and see, right? So if the market wanted us to prepare for bad times, it would make us too rich too fast. That's actually a quote from me. All right, you can read it here again. So the guy, though, one of the guys who just put this together in posts. So everyone's got this, friends. Like, it's not new. Uncle Bobby Lucas, shout out, makes a mean Souvlaki, even though he floods half my bags. It's all right, Uncle Bobby, still love you. Everyone knows about a left translated cycle, friends. It's nothing new. Okay, commodities, stocks, people, they know what it is. It's just that the one guy, shout out to Mr. Camel Finance again. Some say he really is a real life camel. He drew this back in zombie virus. This was actually Bitcoin halvening 2020. You see this? You can see the capitulation week. See that right here? Zombie virus. And you see this painting part is me, by the way. This part, I connected the dots together, but he drew the arrows. So he's got an arrow up here. Up, down, up, 2-year bear. So let's go again. So he basically said, hey, Bitcoin, by the way, look at this, 100K. Friends, I'm telling you, we got scammed last cycle. Every single person had 100K up here. You see that? Every single person had 100K. Every single person had 100K minimum. So SBF was doing some dumping. Some scamming went on. I know the government trying to keep inflation lid down with Bitcoin. Some bull BS happened. We know that. But they got the timing right, yeah? So now you know. Don't worry about the prices, worry about the time. So we had Bitcoin peaked at 69K here, 64, 69K. Then we had the bear market. But look what he has here. The left translated is a hyper pump. So what I'm going to draw now is a vertical line here for 2024. There you go. And 2025. Right here. You see that? So obviously don't worry about his timing here for there. But you can just see that the zone was ready. It's like you come up here. But bear market, look at this. Whoa, that's what it is. That's what it is right there. So you have some sort of fear pump. But then because, let's go into 2025, that's the thing. Because you're meant to peak in 2025. So here's the thing. You're meant to peak here. You're meant to peak here. But instead what you're doing is you're peaking here. You see you're on the left of where you're peaking. Well, that's where you might pay for your sins. Because you went up too much, you can't go up, and then you go down. Now, look, friends, I know, look, markets pretty cool sometimes. You can see things. You can see things. I can see you, or my friend, like, subscribe. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like even if Bitcoin did a left translated cycle, I think April of 2025. Now, why that date? Remember, friends, in 3 out of 3 times, alt season has peaked 12 months after the Bitcoin halvening, exactly on the dot. They peaked November 2013. They peaked, the ETH BTC peaked in June, July of 2017. And then 2021 was May, which was Dogecoin Mania. All those dates are exactly 12 months after the Bitcoin halvening. That's the altcoin versus BTC ratio peak. So we have the Bitcoin halvening April. What about 12 months from now? That's April 2025. So what I've drawn here is a box, and that's altcoins peaking against Bitcoin. So that's what it might be, man. You never know. What if Bitcoin peaks this year, Bitcoin left translated? So let's actually draw that right now. I have it drawn here, friends. What if Bitcoin peaks this year? That's possible. And then by next year, you see this first arrow here? That is altcoins peaking. Because don't forget, okay, why would they do that? Well, if we go up here, friends, see, we go up here, we come back down, right? You see this thrust upwards? This thrust, I'm going to draw it colorful. This thrust, the market is going to go, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's going to like 500,000 next. That's what everyone's going to think is coming next. But actually, altcoins have peaked and we actually go down lower. So that's where we're coming from. It's people who say, well, oh my gosh, you're so strong. When you stop and go up, altcoins should thrust up. That's where everyone's coming from. I think it's also interesting to think about that 2-year bear that would come out. Look, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, if that happens, you made a lot of money. Just what do you do from that point? I don't know. Is it stocks going to go down? Are there going to be deflationary pulses here and there? So we know that the inverted yield curve, friends, don't forget, yes, a lot of people written off the inverted yield curve. Look, I'm telling you now, I don't care what anyone says. I know the bug eaters are there, okay? I know the bug eaters know something. This is the inverted yield curve. They know something, friends. They know something is coming. They just, we and you don't know about it. That's just how the world works. Now, last message from Mr. Jebediah Dean. I like your indicators better than mine, but I still think the blue nipple is worth checking. Even at $73,000, it suggested that the top is much higher. Look, let me tell you something. That's the biggest scam indicator of all time. How do I know? I tried to use it in the last cycle. The blue nipple, friends, in each cycle, I forgot the on-chain, whatever they're called, on-chain, the chain analysis guys. It's a coping indicator. In last cycle, they had the blue tip at a certain level. It never hit it. It didn't even touch it. It stayed at green. The cycle before that, it was in blue for a long time. So it was super euphoric. So the blue had different color scales, okay? Like blue meant super euphoria. It didn't even touch it in the last cycle. So you know what they did out of embarrassment? Because, you know, people are paying like what? $1,500 a month for this, like, for shitty on-chain stuff that doesn't even help at all, right? Doesn't even do anything. What they did was they go, oh, I know, let's lower the threshold. That's what they've just done. So each cycle, what they do is they just go to the threshold and they just lower it. But you can look at a chart and go, oh, you're saying diminishing gains. You can lower your, look at the RSI on a monthly chart. You can see that it's lowering as well. Everything's lowering. So you got to be careful of that. These guys change stuff to try fit the data because they go, oh, euphoria's here. It doesn't have to hit blue in the next one as well. Euphoria, whatever stops before that. Okay, friends, I think you've learned so much today. I'm very, very proud of you. What's going to happen? Well, like I said, it comes back down to the end of this year. We know now. Is Bitcoin $160,000 by December? Or is it $60,000? Right? Does Bitcoin go down to 55K, back to 60, back to 48, then back to 60 by the end of the year? If that happens, sweet, we're going to have a standard 4-year cycle. I would also like to tell you something very important. You know the 4-year cycle, friends? There is a 4-year liquidity cycle with central banks. Don't forget that. A 4-year liquidity and business cycle with stocks. So, once again, I know I can't give you the full answer because I don't know the future, but is Bitcoin going to follow more of the commodity cycle? Or is it going to follow the liquidity cycle, which is risk on, risk off tech? What's it going to do? I don't know, but look, if I was to take a wild guess, look, I know everyone says Bitcoin is money, but are they really going to panic buy Bitcoin? Like, what's going to happen in the world to do that? Is that going to be... Imagine South American countries, friends, all announce they're defaulting. They can't afford something. And so they all have to panic buy Bitcoin, print their currency and go panic buy. That's an example, just to you random stuff. Or someone in the Middle East or another country. You never know. But any of these that happen, you'll be ready. If people are buying it out of fear to do that. Because they did that in the 1980s for gold. And then it had like a massive secular bear market after. That was the final one. Let's see what happens. Make sure you like, subscribe. Catch you soon.